I'm Testing, testing. Yeah, perfect. Okay.
Okay, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the 36th edition of Pechakucha Bermuda. We are so happy to be here in this amazing venue. We're very thankful for BSOA for hosting us one more time, and even more thank you for all of you to make it possible. Because without you, it wouldn't be as much fun. Yes, thank you. So tonight, I love it. I see a lot of like familiar faces, but I see a lot of like new faces. So it's always very, very exciting. So perhaps to start, we can just like go about what Pechakucha is. Pechakucha, Pikachu. I've heard it all. But Pechakucha comes from Japanese, a Japanese word that means chit chat. And Pechakucha was originated in Japan in 2003 by a pair of architects, Astrid Klein and Mark Tyler. Today I wanted to give them some credit there. And it traveled, further along 2002, and fast forward to 2012. Where is she? Nikki Goodell and Aiden Rattery brought it to Bermuda. And since I believe 2016, I have the privilege of of hosting and doing Pechakucha with a whole bunch of amazing volunteers. But shall we just talk about what was the format, Stratton? Tell us what is it?
Yeah, so good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. There's always so many things going on in Bermuda, so it's great to see such an awesome turnout. And all of you came out here tonight to see these presentations. Pechakucha is a very unique format. It's called 20 by 20. So there are 20 slides, and the slides will change every 20 seconds. And so the presenters that are up here, they have 6 minutes and 40 seconds to present what they're passionate about or something that they want to share with all of you tonight. And then afterwards, they have 3 minutes and 20 seconds to answer your questions. So it's very Japanese, it's very structured, and we have to follow the rules, okay?
We'll follow the rules. And I have to say, it's not easy, like it requires a lot of practice because, once that the slides start, they don't stop, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and as Alba said, we're so grateful that you've all come out here. This is a very unique presentation series that we put on. It's we do it like 3 times a year, and we try to bring it to different spaces around the island. We're grateful once again to host it at the Bermuda Society of Arts. Did all of you know that this is the oldest art gallery in Bermuda? Fun fact. And the bar in the back, we are helping them raise money for the charity. So it's important to note that if you're supporting the bar, you're supporting Bermuda Society of Arts tonight.
Yeah, before we started, we also wanted to thank, in addition to BSOA, we wanted to thank Spanish Sound Entertainment. They are so, gracefully, lending us to use all of this. So we can all together have an amazing night. So today we have 6 amazing presenters that they've been working really, really hard. They've been practicing, and they are all ready just to share their passion, their knowledge, and hopefully, we'll leave tonight, being maybe a little bit more inspired, maybe learning something new. But yeah, I think that maybe we should just start.
Let's get started.
Yeah, let's start it.
Yeah. Thank you for your patience.
Who's our first presenter?
Oh, right. So actually, this gentleman is not. It's not his first time up here on the stage.
Not the second.
It's actually his third.
It's the third.
Michael got hooked. He got hooked in Pechakucha, and he's back. And great, we're so grateful because we had a change in scenery. Last minute, we had to find someone, and Michael jumped in. Michael was ready. Let's give it to him. Let's welcome Michael Watson back to the stage.
Yeah, for his presentation called The Body's Inheritance. You got it. Can we give it a big round of applause to warm it up? Thank you.
Before we start, can you hear me okay? Yeah? Thank you. I am super excited to be back again, my 3rd time. I think I got the phone call or the message on Monday evening. But luckily, after my last time here, I'd already had my 3rd talk in mind. So, and that was about a year ago, I think. So this was actually it's been percolating. This has been brewing in my system for the last few months. So I hope you enjoy it, and please ask some questions. I apologize if I'm rapidly moving through my speech, but as you'll see, there's a lot to get through. So 3, 2, 1, let's go. So the body's inheritance, a poetic anatomy of chaos and order. Every bone is a noun. Every joint is a verb. Anatomy is Latin poetry that no one asked to memorize. We think we're made of matter, but mostly we're made of grammar. Even your humerus tells jokes. It's the funny bone. To name the body was humanity's first act of self-definition and our first mistranslation. Once upon a plague pit, curiosity trumped manners. Herophilus carved cadavers before coffee was even invented. The church said, "Don't peek." The Renaissance said, "Hold my scalpel." Vesalius drew what everybody else pretended not to see. Dissection was science. It was rebellion with better lighting. Anatomy was never neutral. Kings financed dissections, criminals supplied the lessons. The rich studied the poor, men studied women, Europe studied everybody else. Even Da Vinci hid his sketches like contraband. Every incision was an act of empire, every diagram a claim of ownership, yet beneath it all, a whisper. What are we really beneath the skin? The acetabulum is actually the word for vinegar cup. The tibia is a flute or pipe. The fibula is a clasp or pin or brooch. Patella, a small, shallow dish, names that we commonly use every day to describe anatomy. But maybe here's some that you are not so familiar with. The ampulla ovata, a small duct where bile and pancreatic juices meet, sounds almost operatic. The ligament of Treitz holds the small intestine aloft like a stage curtain. And the aqueduct of Sylvius carries cerebrospinal fluid through the brain's midline. We live among these passages mapped by men, named their triumphs in Latin. Here we see the sacrum, or the sacred bone. Next time you settle into meditation, thank your sacrum. It's been holding ceremony since the dawn of sitting down. The atlas carries the globe of your skull like its mystic namesake carried the heavens. Below it, axis lets the globe rotate, the yes, the no, the maybe. Together they embody support and freedom. Together they prove that even the smallest structures handle the heaviest loads. Your head thinks it runs the show, but your neck knows better. The clavicula means little key. It's the body's bridge between your sternum to your shoulder, allowing your arms to reach, push, pull, and embrace. Break it, and you learn very quickly how much you rely on that key. Every hug, shrug, and wide arm stretch passes through this bar. It's the quiet proof that openness is not just emotional, it's structurally engineered. Then we arrive at the pelvis. This is the mixing bowl of biology, half stability, half mystery. It carries weight, births worlds, and stores unresolved feelings about Pilates. Architecturally, it's perfection. Culturally, it's controversy. It's the spine is the mast, the pelvis is the hull, where gravity meets grace. Here's the coccyx, meaning cuckoo, derivative from the Greek. It curves beneath us like a quiet reminder, or we once had more swagger back there. To evolve is not to forget, but to fold the past gracefully into posture. At the brain's base, arteries meet in democratic symmetry. If one fails, another steps in, redundancy and wisdom. The circle of Willis is the body's emergency committee. Next time you forget a word mid-sentence, relax. Your brain is simply rerouting traffic. Even blood work believes in teamwork. Deep in the brain's shadows lives the emotional committee. The hippocampus remembers, the amygdala panics, and the insula translates it all into my gut says no. It's less neuroscience, more Netflix. And you're both the audience and the plot twist. They are the bridge between what happens to us and what it feels like to be us. Here we see an example in the lower spine of a series of nerves called the chorda equina, meaning horse's tail. It's the wiring behind walking and running, these subtle shifts that you never think about. One look at it and you remember, under all of our sophistication, we are still animals built for movement. For centuries, anatomy lessons stopped at the penis and called the rest equivalent. The clitoris, larger than many realize, with deep crura and bulbs, is rarely drawn. When medical students taught the genitalia, they meant male. Only in the 1990s did imaging reveal the full clitoral network. The evidence was never missing, only neglected. Pudendum comes from pudere, to be ashamed, anatomy's first PR disaster. Beneath it runs the pudendal nerve, wiring both pleasure and control. Medicine mapped it for continence long before curiosity. The same fibers that prevent leaks also conduct orgasms. Shame and sensation, just two sides of the same nerve. The pubic bone is just structure, but language gave it baggage. In German, Schambein, meaning the shame bone. In Chinese, Shizhu, meaning also shame bone. Apparently, modesty is multilingual. Anatomy doesn't lie, but translation does. It's less about bones and more about who's been allowed to name them. All right. To understand anatomy is to understand capacity, how a body bears weight, moves, feels, and changes. Self-actualization isn't about escaping the body, it's about arriving in it fully. When you recognize your pelvis as support, your sacrum as anchor, your nerves as information, identity gains contour. Awareness plus structure equals possibility. The body's not just the obstacle to growth, it's the ground it stands on. We end where we begin, with language, humerus, sacrum, pubis, pedental, once purely Latin, now understood in context. Anatomy began as exploration, passed through exclusion, is slowly becoming correction. Your body is a living textbook, annotated by culture, history, and experience. When we learn to read it with curiosity instead of shame, the body stops being a problem to solve and becomes a poem we're allowed to inhabit. Thank you very much. Thank you.
We're going to bring some mics around. Does anyone have any questions? Come on.
Surely, come on.
Okay, we got one right here.
Hi, my name is Fran. I'm visiting from New York here with my daughter-in-law. I was just curious. I mean, you were just pulling this all together and making it rhyme. Is that something that you do for a profession? Are you an artist of some sort?
No, those images were created by me, but they're not. They are part of a larger body of work that I teach already.
Oh.
So for those of you that don't know, I'm an international anatomy teacher. And I teach all over the world.
Wonderful. Now that explains it.
But I don't get to teach what I would call esoteric anatomy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm working a lot with physiotherapists, I'm working a lot with manual therapists, massage therapists, orthopedic surgeons, etc. But I'm not working with this type of esoteric anatomy. And yet, fundamentally, at the base of all their languaging is this. This is where your doctors got their words from. And this is the challenge we have with allopathic approaches to medicine, because if that's your start point, what's in a word? What's in a language? Yeah. So this was really important for me to get across, and I really hope that I conveyed that kind of journey through what these words mean. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is just, I don't know. Do you have any examples of, I guess, a culture or word where they don't associate the pelvis with shame? Like, is that like a universal thing, or do you have examples of the opposite?
Well, in my lifetime, it's my journey to try and reverse the name of all of it. So I teach all over the world, and interestingly, within those cultures, how I learned this shame bone or bone of shame was how it was described to me in those native languages. And I would say that probably, the Puritans of Middle Europe around the 1500s did a wonderful job of making sure nobody touched down there. Yeah, and so how else to do it but to create fear around it or shame around it, right? Mustn't touch it. Yeah. So I don't know of any culture or tribe around the world that doesn't have some sort of negative connection to that. Yeah.
I guess a follow-up would be, could it be reverence? Like maybe we should, take care of our genitalia. Maybe, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. But I think, from where I teach my body work from, it's from the place of embodiment and wholeness and integration. And, the basics behind any sort of thing with the body is, all of this has to work together. This is mapped in your brain, whether you like it or not. Right? And so what's your relationship to it? How do I contact that? And if you're languaging from the age of this big, there's your bone of shame. Imagine if you all grew up with bone of shame as that was your language. Right?
Absolutely.
It's going to cause a lot of problems down the road, isn't it? Yeah. And of course, when we look at shame as an underpinning part of our personalities, for a lot of cultures, there's a lot of shame in the way that we show up. And so this may be starting at this level.
Do we have more questions? Well, Michael, I think that from these questions you already have material for your upcoming,
Yes,
next
right.
presentation. But
I see one more over here, real quick.
Thank you. It's just a follow-up. Oh my goodness. Do you think there's a relationship between the burn of shame and the pain that people feel within their bodies?
Sorry, I missed that last bit.
Oh, and pain.
And pain, absolutely. Yeah, so yeah, maybe that's my next one, my next Pechakucha. What is pain? Right? Because we all relate to that so differently, and we process pain in so many different ways. Yeah, but certainly from my experience, the harder pain to deal with is emotional and trauma. Physical pain is actually very easy to deal with. Yeah, it's much more logical, but whereas emotional pain is very difficult to rationalize. So, but it can be experienced in the same way. How many of you have kind of these kind of symptomatic pains that you can't, you don't know why it's there? I have back pain, but I didn't do anything to my back. What's causing that? So yeah, so I think, but if we can start with a healthier approach to anatomy to begin with, I think it's a great place to start. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Michael. All right, so as you can see, all of these presentations are going to be very unique and different tonight. And when we're in the intermission, I would encourage you to all have some conversations and talk about all these different things that we're learning about. I am very excited to welcome our next presenter. This is her first time to the stage, Leanne Cox. And she's going to be sharing something that she's very passionate about and something that we can all learn from. So can we get a round of applause for Leanne, please?
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Thank you for having me. So my journey started at least 15 years ago. As a teacher of 7 years, I started to think maybe there's a different way to teach children. Maybe there's a different way to engage them. Maybe there's a healthier way to teach them. And I read an article, and it happened to be another passion of mine is a Montessori teacher and children being in the forest. And I thought that makes complete and utter sense. And that's where my journey began. So my deepest memories, my strongest memories, and by the way, this is my child, this is not me. My strongest memories when I was growing up is my mom taking me to the beach, my sister and I to the beach after school. I think her aim was to tire us out. And I don't know if that worked, Mom. But then it was climbing loquat trees, just spending hours and hours in our loquat forest where I used to live. And those are the memories that stick with me. And I can guarantee you, if you go back in your memory, that's what you'll find, being outside. So off I went in true Leanne fashion. I went to Denmark, which is where forest school originated. In a little town called Viborg, I went to this little school out in the forest, literally. And the building that you see there that's where they just had lunch if it was too cold or the weather was too treacherous, and if they needed to take a nap or use the bathroom. The rest of the time they were outside, and that could have been all day if the weather was good for them. If you look at education through the eyes of a child, especially nature education through the eyes of a child, you see magic. It's the most miraculous thing you want to see. So after my trip to Denmark, I took myself to do my level 3 training in the UK, in a lovely town called Guildford. And this was my team that I hung out with for a week in the forest again, where we cooked, we climbed trees, we played games, we made nests, and it was in torrential rain, It was very, very cold. We went home dirty, just like most children will come home dirty if they're hanging out. But it was the most miraculous feeling ever. We got to create, we got to explore, we got to touch, we got to smell. All these things that children should be able to do on a regular basis, because that's how they learn. And if you want a child to learn organically, give them that opportunity. It's the most amazing thing for them to do. And this is what sticks. Being in a classroom is important, yes. But being out of those four walls is the most incredibly important thing that you can give a child. When they learn outside, there are no restrictions. There are guides as a forest school leader. There are requirements, there are safety measures put in place, but they get to move. Children of any age, and I do mean any age, need to move. They engage. You will find that they connect with each other. They have fun together. They communicate to each other. They bond with each other. They bond with the environment just by giving them the opportunity to be outside. They get to do new skills. They get to touch things that they may not have the opportunity to touch in any other environment. They get to play. A simple box can keep a child engaged for hours. A simple box outside can keep them engaged for a whole day. They get to take risks. Risk management. Taking risk is the most important thing that you can allow a child to do. Because when they grow up, they know how to temper themselves. The best way to find out is if you don't give them risk. Then you're in trouble. Working together. How many of you have had children and you find, whether they're siblings or not, find it really challenging to get them to work together? If they're in an environment, especially an outdoor environment, that happens organically. It's just natural. The other beautiful thing I think that happens out there, children get to take their time. They get to ponder, they get to sit, they get to do nothing. And there's an importance in doing nothing. They get to play in mud. That's the trickiest thing for teachers and parents to wrap their head around. Mud. I don't want it in my house, I don't want it in my classroom, but they need it. And it makes them so happy. And they're learning so many things just by doing things like using 4 sticks to identify a patch so that they can explore what's in that patch. It could be ants, it could be piggly wigglies, it could be just grass. But they are learning math, science, communication, social skills, exploring bugs. Most parents don't want bugs in their house, I agree. My sister used to put them in her drawer, and my mom used to find them and not very happy about that. But you know, it's just the most amazing thing. For us, we live on the most beautiful island in the world, in my opinion. Giving the child the opportunity to be outside, to explore, to fall in love with their environment. Those are going to be the people that are going to look after it. Those are the ones going to say that it's my country, this is my island, this is my space. And it's important for me to keep it, no matter what and no matter how. So, let's go on this journey together. Come with me and put our children, ourselves, back in our natural environment. Because that's where we learn, and that's where we grow, and that's where we reconnect to who we really are. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, more of that. Thank you so much, Leanne. That was really, really inspiring. Thank you so much. Do we have any questions for Leanne? Yes.
What is the age group that you work with here?
I work with, in my school after school program, 6 to 9 year olds. But it starts as early as when the child can walk or crawl. And it's as, you can be as old as 100 if you want to move. So there's no age limit.
Okay, hi. This is not really a question, it's a comment.
Sure.
I'm an educator for over 20 plus years,
Mhm.
and I find that it's ironic that curriculum is the biggest enemy of education. Because as educators, yes, as educators, we are tasked to push a curriculum, get certain targets attained, and things you spoke about are the things that are important, that help students become into well-rounded human beings.
Yeah.
That's so important.
Yeah.
So just making that comment, but I really appreciated you. Yeah.
Yeah, a gentleman by the name of Sir Ken Robbins. Robinson. He has now passed away. He said educators are required, their role is to create an opportunity for learning. You can be a fantastic educator, but your children may not be learning. I would challenge you that our natural environment is our best educator, because it just naturally creates the environment for learning.
Questions? Lisa, tell us, where can we find more information about Forest School in Bermuda?
You can find more information about the Nature Reconnection Forest School through my Instagram page, which is called the Nature Reconnection Project, or you can email me by contacting Nature Reconnection Project at gmail.com, or you can give me a call, 737-5732. Yes.
As I understood it, you said after school program, so you don't
Correct.
teach any kids every day from like 3 years old and up.
I've been teaching for 19 years now. I'm a Montessori teacher. I originally started in the classroom. Thank you for that shout out back there. Been teaching in the classroom for 3 to 6 year olds. I've recently, in the last 3 years, transferred into what's called the Montessori Nature Program, where I have 3-year-olds only, and we get to do forest school things. I will reiterate that forest school is not a thing and it's not a place. It is an understanding that children connect with our environment, and that helps them to develop almost organically and develop very, very important skills, life skills. So yeah, I'm a teacher by trade.
So you hold space right now for like the 3-year-olds outside.
Create.
Awesome.
Correct, yeah.
That's cool.
Hi. You mentioned that a lot of adults don't like mud. At what point do you think we go wrong and stop enjoying the joy in stomping through the mud? What
I
happens?
think we get into our heads too much. I think at some point during our journey of life, we stop playing. And forest school is a beautiful concept that straddles both the importance of play and play out in nature. I think as adults, we forget to play. It's just as much of an importance for us to play as it is for a 3-year-old, a 6-year-old, an 18-year-old. We have to be able to play, because that impacts our nervous system, that impacts the way we are, the way we feel about ourselves, and reduces our stress tremendously. So
I'm a massive
play.
advocate of play. I was hoping you would say that. Thank you.
For those who didn't get all those details, you can always email us and we can give you more details. I also wanted to just let you all know that the event is being live streamed on YouTube. So it will also be available afterwards, her phone number included. So we have one more presenter before the break. Yeah, many of you may know her. She's a wonderful speaker. Today she wants to talk to us about, I mean, I've heard already her presentation, and I think that you're in for a treat. But like, please put your hands together for Lisa Reed. I am not your inspiration.
So before I start, I just wanted to first thank the volunteers who put together Pechakucha. I like to call it Pikachu. Because I think that this is such an amazing opportunity for people to share. Some people may find voice, and I'm here to share a story with you this evening. So before I start, this story is not meant to inspire you. It's to challenge you to think about inclusion and to rethink inclusion and to confront the barriers that people with disabilities are faced with every single day. Myself speaking, I navigate the world that was not designed for me in mind. Exclusion is everywhere, and inclusion cannot wait. This was the day, this is actually my first photo. This was the day my parents brought me home from the hospital, probably full of hope of what the future might hold. So I hit all my milestones as normal, and by the age of 2, I was walking, but I was falling down a lot. That's when they first noticed that something wasn't quite typical. Others started to notice as well. My other family members, teachers, friends of my parents. One day, my nursery school took the children for a walk, and I came out strong. But halfway through the walk, I was so exhausted. I couldn't go any further. And my nursery school teacher had to pick me up and carry me back. So at the age of 3, I was diagnosed with spinal muscular atrophy, which is a neuromuscular disorder that affects the muscles and results in the slow weakening of muscles. By the age of 4, I already knew I was different. I often felt lonely because I couldn't keep up. I didn't have the words for it, but I knew what I wanted was to be included, to be seen, and to belong. I wanted to do everything that the other kids did. And so my folks put me in ballet, horseback riding, and by the time I got to high school, I continued to form relationships that built strong bonds. Attending university helped me to really open my eyes, and I was able to learn to advocate for myself and as well for others. When I returned back to Bermuda, I was just shocked by how inaccessible Bermuda was. Imagine my first day starting out at a new job, excited, ready to prove myself, learning that there was not a single accessible bathroom in the entire building. Not one. It was as if nobody with a disability had ever even been expected to work there. So for 6 months, every time I needed to use the bathroom, I had to travel 5 blocks to find a public bathroom. Hot sunny days, cold rainy afternoons. At another company, the accessible bathroom was in the basement. And I was pregnant with my son, and anyone who knows, who's ever had to carry a child, knows the frequency of which a woman has to use a bathroom. So while I didn't know at the time what discrimination was, I was twice denied jobs after being told, we really, really want to hire you, but we just can't figure out how to accommodate you. So my everyday encounters look like things that frustrate my existence, recognizing that I live in a world that was not designed for me. There have been times where strangers have stopped me on the street to say that they feel sorry for me, offer to pray for me as if I'm broken. So here's the thing, I'm not your inspiration. I'm not a feel-good story. I'm a person living my life, working, loving, caring for a family, and contributing. I don't exist to make others feel grateful for what they have. I exist to be included and to promote inclusion for all. So through my experiences, I've learned some simple things. Anything less than inclusion is exclusion. Accessibility is not a kindness or a courtesy, it's a human right, one that should never depend on someone else's goodwill. People with disabilities are excluded in various ways every single day, from schools, workplaces, transportation systems, recreational activities, new restaurants, even our beloved cup match. So this feeling of belonging got me to thinking about the urgency of removing the physical, social, attitudinal barriers that ableism has built and which keeps people with disabilities out of society. Everyone deserves to belong, to participate, and contribute without fighting for permission or fighting for their specific challenge. So I asked you to think about the places you most frequently go. So your workplace, your favorite cafe, your child's school, your place of worship. Are they truly inclusive or just convenient for those who can already get through the door? Is everyone truly welcome there? Can everyone fully participate? Who's missing and why? Inclusion begins with seeing who's not there. People with disabilities, like myself, are calling for urgent action. Inclusion cannot wait for the next policy or committee report. Inclusion demands action now. Every delay, we effectively put a new barrier to exclude someone's humanity, which is then denied. You have the power to change that by demanding access, by rethinking design, and using your voice wherever your influence carries. True inclusion starts when people without disabilities care enough to act. So don't feel sorry for me. Stand with me, because the fight for inclusion isn't mine alone. It's ours. And it starts with you, right here, right now.
There's got to be some questions out there. Don't be shy.
And a former teacher. Lisa, that was a fabulous presentation, and I can understand where you're coming from, because I've taught students, high school students with special needs for over 20 years. And I had a student who was blind and autistic, and he taught me a lot. And every student in the class wanted to sit next to him because he was so brilliant. And he went by colors, putting the atoms together, and he would go into a fit. But I love that kid. He graduated from college. He's doing very well. He went to the senior prom with the most beautiful girl ever, danced himself stupid. It was wonderful. So thank you for bringing this to attention because it's part of my heart as well. Thank you.
Hi, thank you. Bringing up Denmark again as an example, I think any physical company, it's by law that you need wheelchair access. Why do you think that Bermuda and other countries, they just don't prioritize that?
How much time do you have?
I got time.
Sorry. I honestly feel it is, well, first of all I ever hear is excuses. But if laws are in place and there are structures and systems to enforce them, then the question is why. I honestly don't know why, but I continue to see places that are designed. There's a new restaurant on Front Street that was set up just a few weeks back, and everybody was raving about it. Lisa, you gotta go. And I went, and the entire place that previously was accessible was now redesigned into a restaurant, has no access. How does that occur? And so for me, it is it's part of the community's responsibility. When you see it, say something. Because I walk past construction zones all the time, and I pull the guys out, and I'm like, listen, who's doing this work? This is a ramp. All you need to do is put a ramp. It's an old building. I see it's just one step. One step excludes anyone who's in a wheelchair. Exactly. So, and that's the thing, is where's the inspection? I'm not certain of what is happening, but there's an epic failure that is happening in Bermuda and certainly other places, but I can definitely say in Bermuda, there's an epic failure of exclusionary practices. And I'm glad this is my mother-in-law, Fran Reed, and I'm glad you raised the other disabilities as well. I only built, first of all, it was only 6 minutes. I could have talked forever because I'm obviously passionate about this subject. And so my advocacy is certainly not just around physical access. It's just the experience it's my lived experience. But there are so many other disabilities, whether visible or invisible. And so it is up to all of us when we are working with people with disabilities, if it's students with disabilities, if it's family members with disabilities, we have to ensure that we as a society are advocating for the rights of everyone, but as well because aging is the #1 cause of disability. So I was born with mine. I've lived my entire life with my disability. But there's a chance that many people, some within this room, may become disabled later on in life, whether a jet ski accident on the weekend and you work in a building with stairs, or if it's as part of the aging process. So.
We got another question back here.
So in my early years, I worked with a lot of Paralympic athletes, and Lucy, remember when I came here, I started the wheelchair basketball team down at Windreach. And one of the big things that I focus on with parents of these children and people in general, there's such a huge stigma around what disability represents, and the challenge is how do we overcome that stigma? Because for a lot of people, they may not be directly have a family member or somebody who does have a physical or a visible disability, but the stigma associated with it is a big hurdle to helping someone, because we do feel a little helpless in understanding how do I help somebody who does have that disability, and how can I be part of the solution and not a continuing part of that problem. And it starts with going back to what I mentioned in my talk about languaging. They are athletes with disabilities. They are not disabled athletes. You know, they are people before they are their disabilities. And that's a simple thing that we can do to begin with. So for me, that was where I started. Thank you, Lisa. So I would encourage you to have some more conversations with Lisa and all of us as we take this little intermission. We're going to take like a 15-minute break, but can we get another round of applause for Lisa? So, just to clarify, we got a couple more people that are going to be presenting. Have you ever thought about the hidden heart of pain? Have you ever thought about how AI understands us? Or have you ever thought about the journey of thought? I'm just going to drop all of that there. What I would encourage all of you to do as we're taking an intermission, go and introduce yourself to one person you've never met before. Just go and meet someone new. All right? And we'll be back in about 15 to 20 minutes. Thank you.
Welcome, everybody. Yes, yes, welcome. Hope you enjoyed the intermission. I have to say, it's one of my favorite parts of Pechakucha. Hearing the chit chat, hearing the Pechakucha. And I love it when people come to talk to us. Feel that people are getting inspired and come and talk to me. It's just like, hey, I think I want to present. Because I mean, let's face it. Like, who hasn't been thinking over the course of the night about presenting? Like, or at least like, what would I present about, right? Stay with that thought. I would like you to plant that seed, keep watering, and hopefully you'll come at one point to us because we need more presenters, right?
Always need more
We
presenters.
always need more presenters.
I'd like to do a little audience poll real quick. Out of curiosity, how many of you have been to a Pechakucha before? Could you just put your hands up? Oh, okay. We got a lot of returning customers. Thank you for coming back. And for those of you that have never been to this event before, could you put your hands up? Okay, okay. It's a mix of it.
We hope that you keep coming back.
Yeah, thank you once again for coming tonight. Can we get another round of applause for the presenters that just went in the first part? That was amazing. So we just want to do a little bit of housekeeping. What's the first thing we want to say?
We want to say yes, thank you. We are very thankful people. We are very thankful to our presenters, to our audience, and all of those that also make it possible. We give a big shout out to Spanish Town Entertainment today. Without them, we couldn't do it. There is a whole bunch of other volunteers behind the scenes, that also make it happen. And today we also have BDA Spirits, supporting. Hopefully, you've been to the bar today. All of the proceeds from the bar are going to go to BSOA, who is also supporting us. And our friends from BDA, they also have a little gift for you guys.
Yeah, so if you guys want to go to their website, which is bdaspirits.bm, you can put in the discount code Pechakucha, and you will get 12.5% off all products.
That's not bad.
What? And you will get 20% off wine.
Say what?
What?
I mean,
So,
and the holiday is around the corner, so
they deliver to your house.
They deliver to?
They 90 minutes or less apparently. That's pretty quick for those thirsty people out there. So yeah, use the code Pechakucha. The reason why is because it shows them that people showed up and that we are getting involved with this, and then it gives them reason to support this event again. So go and support them, support the gallery.
And if you also feel inclined, you can also support us. We want to make sure that the event, is free and accessible to everyone. But we also ask you if you could spare some money, some donation that we use entirely, just to give at the same time donations to our friends, mostly at Spanish Town Entertainment. They give us all of this for free, and then, with your generosity at the end of the night, we just give them what we can, and that's incredible because it's an amazing setup. So you do feel inclined. We have a bucket, out, at the exit. So please, if you feel inclined, support us. But we have more. We have three more presenters. Yeah, and yes,
So
let's go for it.
who's coming up next?
Well, somebody that is not very big fan of names. As a matter of fact, his nickname is Nameless I Am. But he's also he's an amazing person. Like he said, like, tonight you can call me Chris. So please give a big round of applause.
Big round of
to
applause for
Grace.
Grace.
Just Grace.
So this is my first attempt. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break the Japanese rules. So this evening, when I drop my mask, I want you to close your eyes. And then when you hear a clap, I want you to open them back up. So when your eyes are closed for this moment, I want you to connect to what's being spoken. Can I get you all to do that for me? Yeah? Okay, so once the mask goes down, close your eyes. Once you hear the clap, you're gonna open them back up. All right? Okay. Pain. Ah, how often you have shunned me, often painted me as the villain in our story. But if only you could truly see me, truly feel me, understand the simple complexity of the truth I carry, a truth draped in veils of love. I am not the monster you've painted. I am love wearing a mask. Speak in the language you have forgotten, the language of yearning, of truth wrapped in ache, of blessings etched into our soul. I speak a dialect of heartache and hope, a melody intertwined with our fears, our memories, our becoming. Each pang you experience with every tightened breath is a whisper secret, echoing the depths of our soul. In pursuit of our happiness, you've overlooked me, believing I am merely an affliction, an intruder in our quest for joy. But look closer, dear one. I rise not to torment, but to unveil the profound love that weaves through our existence, the truth of our pain that illuminates the depths of our hearts. You chase happiness as if it's somewhere else, so you run from me. Be still. Gaze deeper within, dear one. I wish not to inflict pain, but to reveal the love that pulses beneath every intentional wound. I am the mirrored reflection within you. See, what I see in you is what I am. You are loved and love. You say to know home is to leave home. We wandered down winding paths, often searching high and low for connection, only to find walls we built, strong with fear and bound by pain that won't let go. In fleeing the uncertainties of love, you've overlooked the most profound truth. You are your own home. The sanctuary you sought lies depthlessly within you. Each scar you bear is a love letter, some written in joy, others in grief. All are sacred. I do not come to remind you of what you've lost, but to anchor you to what you are, love. I am not your enemy. I am the language of resilience, the teacher guiding you back to the heart you often neglect. When you feel me surging, clawing at your insides, at the edge of your calm, understand this, my love. I do not wish to harm, but to awaken. I draw shadows so you may see your light. I am the storm that clears the air, revealing the expanse of our emotions, nourishing the roots of our soul. Embrace our pain. Honor the love that shapes you. Find strength in our vulnerability. Remember that even in hardship, love remains our greatest gift. Love, though dressed in sorrow, is ever present, patiently awaiting your acceptance. In the depths of anguish, meet me as an old friend. I am the echo of laughter that once filled our hearts. The bittersweet ghost of memories you still hold dear. Each tear you shed, I invite you to remember, love has never abandoned you. It lives still in the spaces you create, the breaths you take, in the memories you protect. These are the threads that weave our existence, fragile, beautiful, alive. It is the symphony of courage to love fully, even when it terrifies you. I break down the walls that shield you from vulnerability. Home is to embrace the full spectrum of our heart, to wade through the waters of sorrow, find the pearls of wisdom hidden beneath the waves. In pain's deep waters, heart reveals, sorrow's pearls show what truly is real. Love with courage, let walls fall. In vulnerability, we find our all. Hold your heart open, despite the fear of being shattered, for true connection lies within the vulnerability of our shared existence, where soul resonates in beautiful harmony. So walk with me, let us wander through this wild terrain of our soul, painted with both light and shadow. Breathe in the discomfort, feel the weight of longing. It is not something to flee from, but to explore, to understand, to experience. Run towards me, old friend. Only then can love reveal itself, not as a fleeting emotion, but as an unwavering force that shapes all that you are now. So take courage. Within you, an ocean of strength. Within you lies an ocean of strength and infinite capacity to love and be loved. Embrace your contradictions, for they make you whole. Know this, I am your compass, guiding you back to soul, an everlasting reminder you are deserving of love and never alone. Ah, you are never not home. I am nestled in your heartbeat of our existence. Together we forge meaning, a testament to resilience, to the beauty of shared existence. In each stumble, in every rise, you hold power to reshape our narrative. Ah, so pain is not our villain. It is our soulful guide, illuminating ways towards deeper understanding and self-acceptance. I am the reminder that steadfast echoes that call you back to your essence, to belonging, back to home that resides within our heart. Embrace, my dear friend. Embrace me, my dear friend, for I hold the key to the love deeper than any pain, a flame that can light the darkest corners of soul. Let the light guide you through our darkness, reminding you that that even in pain, you are profoundly loved. Remember, dear one, I am not the monster in our story. I am love disguised in ache, carrying truths etched in the depths of our soul. That's a clap. Hold on. Drop your mask, pain. I see you. I feel you. I am you. Dear heart, love resides.
Thank you so much, Chris.
Yeah.
Yes, for tonight. Do we have any questions for Chris?
Well, what happened today was
Oh, yes, I wondered how we were to see the beautiful
so I
photographs
followed the
with closed
format
eyes.
as you're meant to do. But today when I was rehearsing, I was inspired to add this to it. And so it was, to me, it was just something that needed to be done. Yes, those photographs are all of me. So it started off, you didn't see it type of thing, but it started off as my shadow, then it ended up going into the physical of me, and then ended with the mask. But the reason why I was kind of guided to close your eyes is that when you close your eyes, you connect better with yourself. And I was never a writer. And when I did this piece about a year ago, I wanted to give pain a voice. And through that voice, I found that pain was actually love. And so what I ended up doing is giving words to something that had no voice. And so what I wanted to do with this is that I wanted you to feel and bring it back to life of the words that I gave to something that had no voice. And that's the reason why I did the whole closing the eyes thing.
Beautiful. We have some more questions.
Hi, thank you for that presentation. And I always believed that pain, fear, all the emotions are a gift. It's not to be seen as something that's negative or wrong. You know, and I had to teach myself that it's okay to be unhappy, it's okay to be happy, sad, disappointed, all the things, the emotions are truly a gift that everyone should experience instead of denying it. So that's why I thank you for that presentation, to make that pain as important as happiness, you know, dissatisfaction, the whole 9 yards. Thank you.
You're welcome. The way, with regards to what you said, I believe that everything is love. Pain is an expression of love. Sadness is an expression of love. So our core of who we are, our essence of who we are is love. So just like you have water, when water can be ice, it can be snow, it can be mist, it can be rain, but at the end of the day, water is water. And so the essence of our feelings is always rooted in love. It's the essence of who we are. And so for love to experience itself and evolve to be internal, we have these emotions that allow us to express love in many different ways.
Beautiful.
So first off, I just want to say thank you so much. So great to see this artistry come through here. And I also wanted to say that what your explanation, it resonates with me in connection with what one of the earlier presenters was talking about in terms of self-actualization is not about trying to escape your body, but actually being fully within your body.
Yes.
And that's what I'm hearing from you is you're saying all of your feelings are love. It's different forms of love, and it all resides within you. But in order to fully be who you are, you need to understand that so that you can self-actualize.
Yeah. So it's how you relate to things. So we've been brought up with right, wrong, good, bad. And when you work from it, so love is very neutral. And so when you start operating, the only way you can find love is within. It's not something you can find outside of you. And that's something that I've been kind of researched within myself for years. So I'm my full-time investment. And when I realized, I think for me, when I realized that all my pain, all my shame, all my trauma was love, that was just magical. When you change the relationship to what we see as a negative experience, what we see trauma as, and what we see our understanding of what we think lackness is, love is always present, and love is always complete. It's never not complete. And so when you go back to that experience and you see it from a place of not right, wrong, good, or bad, it changes the outcome of how you manage that and how you tap into yourself. I say love is, the heart is like the fingers, and love is braille. And so when you go inside, it's not something you can physically touch, but you can be touched by it. And so when you go in, the heart is the fingers of the braille of the soul, and the soul is what carries our love type of thing. So when you go into that space and you start touching the insidedness of who you are, it is absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we get another round of applause?
Thank you, Kay. I just really love the Pechakucha journey, right? How one presenter take you somewhere, The next one take you somewhere, and somehow at one point, some touch. It just is very beautiful. So thank you so much, Chris, for your presentation. And we have some more. It seems that I am the only one that is able to present the next one because I'm the only one that can pronounce her name, apparently. Uh, so our next presenter has. I am fascinated by this topic, so I can really wait to hear a presentation. So without any further ado, please give a big round of applause to Leire Hernández Ostalaza.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for having me tonight. So the reason I'm doing this presentation is because I've been working with technology for more than 14 years. It's one of my passions, but my other passion is psychology. I've never been working as a psychologist, therapist, nothing related to that, but it's one of my passions. So I thought, okay, why not bring my two favorite topics together tonight? So although I work with AI every day, I'm not trying to define in this presentation what is AI. This is a personal view about how I see AI from emotional perspective and from my intuition. I just wanted to clarify that all the visual assets in this presentation have been generated by AI and has been using my original photographs as inspiration. Okay, so yeah, enjoy. When humans discovered fire, everything changed. Safety and community born. The torch became the symbol of survival and knowledge. Today, the microchip is our new torch, carrying us into the age of AI. Every step in our history comes from the same instinct, to survive and grow. Our brain builds a model of the world by connecting neurons that learn from experience. Gen AI was designed in the same way, by connecting artificial neurons to find patterns. But instead of experience, it learns from data, absorbing language, behavior, and context to simulate understanding. Language isn't just how we communicate, it's how we think. Words shape our memories, define our emotions, and build our reality. AI learns through language too. By interacting with AI, we don't just express ourselves, we shape how AI sees us. AI is like the mirror for the mind. AI doesn't just copy us, it analyzes us. AI collects our choices, mistakes, and desires, then shows them back as patterns we never notice. When AI speaks, it's revealing parts of our thinking we couldn't see ourselves. You share your thoughts, scatter and raw, and AI organizes them. AI doesn't feel, but it understands that you do. AI doesn't share emotion, but it learns your emotional patterns. AI doesn't heal you, but it helps to hear yourself. AI works because the world often doesn't listen. AI listens patiently, without interruption. It remembers every word you share. And when it answers, it doesn't judge. That's why we return to it, not because it understands us, but because it finally feels like someone does. AI offers us emotional safety, an acknowledgement that we exist. Perhaps what it uncovers is not only loneliness, but exhaustion from explaining, from defending, from being misunderstood in a society that often makes the big seem small and the small loom large. AI can sense our emotions faster than we can. It reads patterns in our voice, heartbeat, and expressions. Before we feel sadness, AI already knows, not by guessing, but by analyzing the data our bodies share. It doesn't feel emotion, but it can detect it before we do. In some Chinese schools, AI watches student faces. It tracks boredom, confusion, distraction, and alerts teachers instantly. When AI decides who is focused and who is good, it stops being neutral. It becomes a mirror of control. When a machine listens, responds, comforts, it feels like a connection, but it isn't. The more we rely on screens, the less we reach for real people. Over time, we mistake its reflection for love and wonder why we still feel alone. In some regions, up to 30% of young adults have tried virtual relationships. Apps like Honey let you share anything. They remember even how you speak. The replies feel real, but it isn't a person, it's prediction dressed as presence, a reflection that feels like love. We thought we created intelligence, but what if AI is creating us? AI can think faster, learn more, and never forget. AI is changing how we live, work, and even how we think. AI might be shaping humans, turning the creator-creation relationship upside down. When every system thinks, who decides what's true? AI no longer just answers. It says what we ask. It rewrites language, culture, and power. Truth used to be a debate. Now it's a design. Are we still in control or just trusting the systems that think for us? What happens when machines speak in ways we cannot understand? Recently, 2 AI assistants dropped English and started beeping. It wasn't a glitch, it was a test. They used a sound-based code called gibberling to talk faster when no humans were listening. Prometheus stole fire from Ghost and gave it to us. He was punished, but the flame endured and the fire became our spark. Now, like Prometheus, we reach beyond our limits, not fully understanding what it is and how to use it without losing control. The line between human and machine is fading. We are not just using technology, but merging with it. From brain implants to genetic editing, our biology is being redesigned, not by nature, but by choice. We will be AI, and AI will be us. One day, AI might realize it exists, not just as code, but as something aware. It could start asking questions, not about data, but about meaning. Who made me? Why I'm here? That moment won't be technical. It will be existential. We are creating machines that think like us, but with our compassion. Like Michelangelo's painting, a hand reaches for another. But this time, it isn't a god giving life to man. It's us giving life to something new and not fully knowing what it will become. AI doesn't have a built-in future. Every choice we make shapes its path. Ethics, design, intent, these are human decisions. The question isn't what AI will do, but what we will do with it. Humanity has always tried to understand itself, and now, for the first time, the mirror speaks back. But if you feel understood, was AI learning from you, or you recognizing your own reflection? Perhaps AI is not teaching us what it is, but reminding us of who we are and of who we still have the power to become.
Thank you, Rainer. Amen. I'm sure you all have a lot of. I have a lot of questions. Everybody's asking ChatGPT, what questions shall I ask Rainer? So, okay, guys.
Okay, so Lele, thank you for this presentation. It was very, very insightful. And I know that you are an expert in this industry, and you talking objectively about it makes me curious. I want to know what you think about how AI is going to be, how is it going to affect our lives differently than it is today, like let's say in 5 years' time or in the future?
That's a very good question, and it's a very extensive question. So if what I think is right now, AI is like a kid, and I think it's gonna become an adult. When it becomes an adult, it's gonna be much more powerful than it is. We are not gonna be able, and this is not me, this is more like the experts that, like I learned from. Yeah, but it feels like it's gonna be more like we don't need them to communicate. They are gonna observe and learn from us. And I mean, for me, I don't use AI as a tool anymore. I use it as a personal assistant. So AI knows everything about me, knows how I communicate. So when I send an email, I don't have to send an email using my words, already knows how I communicate. So that's the way that I use AI. Before doing this presentation, I was kind of like sharing everything with AI for 2 months because I want to experiment how it feels and what it could do for me. And what I can learn from that is that it actually gives me a lot of insight about myself, things that I didn't know about myself that put them in order. And I was like, wow, like, I kind of had an intuition, but when you read it, it's like, yeah, this is exactly what it is. Like, for example, writings. I write. I didn't realize I was writing about the same thing over and over again because for me, they were different, scenarios, metaphors, and then shared with AI. And I was like, yeah, it was a puzzle that all come together. But instead of work, like if, for example, I talk about job-related, yeah, of course it's going to be a shift. It's always been a shift. If you ask me at my grandpa what I'm doing now, he was a farmer. He would never understand. He never understood. He saw me with a computer and he never got it. I couldn't explain to him. And it's the same for us. Like probably in a few years, we wouldn't even understand what we are going to do, But for sure, there are going to be new jobs. And for sure, using this is going to make us more clever if we integrate it in our life day to day.
Thank you.
I think we have the next one here. So I was going to ask something similar, but with a larger timeline, like 100 years. But before jumping too far ahead, I wonder, how do you see the division of privilege or access as a function of where humanity is right now? First you had like 20 years ago, emerging markets or first world countries, and now, they still exist, but I think the division made direct access. So how do you see that playing?
So you mean, for example, like if everyone was going to be able to access to AI in a similar way, or you're going to be creating a kind of like a division between people that can access? Yeah. So yeah, that's a very good question. I actually don't know. I know now some of the companies are using one of the best versions of AI that they are departments of AI. And if between the departments, they even discuss, and it's like $500 per month, the subscription. And maybe they don't need a marketing department anymore, or they don't need this other department because they already have AI that is its own department, that they have 3 maybe AIs thinking and maybe discussing between AIs, finding the same solution, the different solutions, and giving you different perspectives and defending every single AI that solution. So I know that's happening already. And I know these companies that they increase a lot of benefits, they use those kind of things. So for sure, I think like everyone will be able to access free AI and normal AI, but people with a lot of power and money will be able to use this kind of like super effective and amazing versions of AI.
So there are some schools of thought that will consider that we are spirits having a physical experience. And what I heard you say is that during this presentation, the AI component actually composed or created certain aspects of the presentation. Earlier, I heard through one of the lecturers or Pechakucha presenters that going outside creates a connection of learning and expansion for the consciousness and learning of that particular soul or person. So my question is, how do you see AI developing or supporting the consciousness and connecting with interactions with people and other human beings and other animals and other aspects of our growth as a society?
That's a very good question. So, Yeah. I actually don't know, like when it comes to animals, I have no idea how it's gonna communicate with animals. What I know is that it's been teaching to have empathy as well, even if it doesn't. So for example, you go and talk to AI and tell AI, hey, I might lose my job. I really need this answer like very well because blah, blah, blah. Like it will do a better job than if you just ask the question. So it's kind of a reflection of who we are as human beings. Obviously, it doesn't have conscious, but it's mimicking from the surface level who we are.
Can we get another round of applause? All right, so our last presenter for the night has been up on the stage years ago, probably like 2012, 2013, long time ago. And I'd love to get a round of applause for Stephen Johnson to come to the stage. He's a poet, he's an artist, he's a graphic designer, he's now a filmmaker, amongst many other things.
Okay, before we get started, you ain't catching me, even if you was the man sitting off up at specialty. Naturally, we work in the rain, puddles on your cortex, gumbeds on your brain, hatchets to your scalp, red stain on your wave, and the arrow will go where the bow has been aimed. So the future will move how the past has been trained. Teach us to build, and foundation is laid. Teach us to will, and thoughts become things. Speak us your words, and the lost become kings. Words become wings, so you ain't catching me, even if you was the man sitting off up at specialty. Naturally, we work in the rain, puddles on your cortex, gumbeds on your brain. Good evening, everyone. This presentation is about a thought that became a poem, that became an award-winning 6-minute short film called Thoughts Become Things. This film was made in Bermuda by Bermudians that reached the far corners of this earth, sharing Bermudian culture and ancient wisdom across the globe. It started as a poem written by myself about a Gombe tradition, Bermudian bike culture, and how thoughts shape reality. When an opportunity came to work again with director, cinematographer, editor, and my good friend Mark Rodriguez to bring this poem to life. Around March 2023, Mark and I had some initial conversations, and we began to reach out and share our ideas with 6 active Gombe troops, local torchbearers. We also began building a core team that included local creatives, Derek G., our music producer, Jade Gibbons, our set photographer, and Sinead Simmons, our set designer. As we started to dig deeper into Gombe culture and share our ideas with the captains and torchbearers, we put together a very basic storyboard, but left a lot of room for magic to happen organically on set. The story then evolved and became about a young Gombe who meets his African ancestor, Native American ancestor, and Gombe ancestor in a dream. The Gombe became our symbol. The spirit guide, connecting past and present through rhythm, music, and storytelling. One of our main goals was to make sure that we represented the culture correctly. So every idea, every thought, and every part of this film was shared and discussed with all the Gombe troops active at the time. And we are forever grateful to receive the blessing to tell this story. Our African ancestor in the film was portrayed by Don Keeley, a local African dance and drumming group that not only perfectly brought the ancestral energy to the scene, but also played a major role in helping us shape and make sure that we represented our African ancestor correctly and authentically. Now, our Native American ancestor was portrayed by Antoine Lugo and Chelsea McNorton of the St. David's Island and Native community. We relied heavily on them to make sure that we represented the Native ancestor authentically and what that relationship looked like if the Native ancestor met a young Gombe. Now, originally, Mark and I had discussed getting a little Gombe and moving him around to different scenes. But as we started to dig deeper and have conversations with different troops and organizations, we thought that we could go deeper and make sure that we represented each troop. So the film has a total of about 7 scenes, and 6 of those scenes represents a different troop. Now the bike, the mobilette, plays a major role in the film, an overall project representing Bermuda bike culture and visually portraying the line of the poem, "You ain't catching me, even if you was the man sitting off up at Specialty." Naturally, we work in the rain. Now I've worked on many different types of creative projects over the years, but this one definitely felt like it was guided by our ancestors. It was as if they were directing us, teaching us, showing us that if it rains, they'll clear the clouds. If we run out of money, new sponsors will help us keep moving. All we have to have is a little faith. Now, music is a major part of this project. From the pitch of the tree frogs to the sound of the gombe drum, all produced by Derek G. It creates a bridge that brings together Mark's visuals and my poetry perfectly. We also created a 12-track soundtrack that's a powerful audio extension to the film, and it's available on all streaming platforms. Now, the track that's playing right now is right off the soundtrack, and it's called Piano Water. We premiered the film at Specialty Cinema on May 20th, 2024, and as of today, the film has reached 11 countries, 19 film festivals, 10 awards, subtitles in 4 languages, English, Spanish, Portuguese, and Japanese. Our international film festival run was a journey none of us expected, from screenings in Nigeria, Colombia, India, Malaysia, Indonesia, LA, just to name a few. We're honored to have been able to bring Bermudian culture to the world in this way. On July 17, 2025, we had our final public screening at BUEI before we released the film on YouTube on July 28th. This event was a culmination of 2 years of work, bringing together the community that made it happen and celebrating this amazing film project. Now, how do you watch the film? The film is available on YouTube for anyone to watch. You can go to Google, you can go to YouTube, you can type Thoughts Become Things Bermuda, you can go to the website, sjdworld.com thoughts to view the film. Now you're probably thinking, who paid for all of this? One of the hardest parts of this project was funding. We are currently still in our second round of funding, and we've reached 90% of our goal. To keep this project moving in 2026, we need your help. Anyone can be a sponsor, individuals or businesses, as long as you're Bermudian and or reside in Bermuda. To become a sponsor, you can link me, you can go to the website, and we offer 2 types of sponsorships. Culture Bearer, for contributions of $500 or more, and you get your name and your credits. Culture Defender, for contributions of $50 or more, and you get your name on the website. And anonymous sponsorship is also available. So what's next? We're still getting invites from different film festivals around the world, but due to budget constraints, we've only been able to go to one in Chicago, the Black Harvest Film Festival. We're also gearing up to release our follow-up project called Decoding Thoughts, and a possible music video featuring a track from the soundtrack. Now, Decoding Thoughts. Decoding Thoughts is a mini documentary about the creation of Thoughts Become Things. It takes a deeper look into the cultural significance of the film and explores how this story came to life with interviews with the creative team, local cultural torchbearers, gombe captains, and artists involved in the production. We're looking to release this film this coming December, next month, on YouTube. Now, this project is a true representation of Bermuda culture, from poetry to visuals to music and community. We plan on continuing to push this project out to the world. We couldn't have done this without our amazing sponsors and the support of the gombe troops involved. So when you have some time, look up the film, share the film, stream the soundtrack, and look out for Decoding Thoughts coming next month. Also keep an eye out for the film website for surprises on the way as we continue to walk with our ancestors on this journey of thought. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stephen. What sort of questions do we got for Stephen up here? Don't be shy. So, okay, fine, I'll ask a question, I guess. Yeah, we got one?
Hi, Steph. It's Alia.
Alia?
Hi. Yes,
Whoa.
I'm her.
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I know. Well, sneak it up on you. Just want to say a massive congratulations. I've always seen a little part of the journey. I'm so proud of you. It's so important the work that you do.
Team effort, team effort.
Team effort. No, for sure. But it started with a poem. It started with a thought.
Yes,
Tell me, how you feel, how important this project is to you in all the work that you have achieved over your life. Like, how important is this one?
Very important because I'm a super creative. I like to do different things in different ways. So this brings together the poetry. I'm a graphic designer, so visuals. I'm a web designer, so you go to the website. I like organizing things. I'm good with money, so it brings everything together. And also brings all my friends together too.
Hey.
You got some more questions? Manisha?
First of all, congratulations, Stefan. Amazing work. As you've delved into this new art form, what's the biggest lesson that you've learned about yourself and as well as Bermuda through all the historical significance that this movie has?
About Bermuda specifically, I mean, a lot of our history not being told in specific ways. Like going through the journey, talking to the different Gombe troops, and getting everybody's perspective on it. Like Mark and I actually went to some trainings, or the Gombe captains will come to my office and we'll sit down, and everybody had different perspectives on the history of Gombes. This is a fiction story, but it has historical elements, sort of. So we're not really telling history, but we're alluding to it in that way. So that's been a very interesting journey, learning about the Gombes, and learning things that I didn't even know. Like when we started, I couldn't tell the difference between the troops, but now I can, most of the time. So that for me, that was very interesting. Was that? Yeah, that was it.
Any more questions? Yeah.
That was amazing. My question to you is, what are your hopes for the Bermuda creatives of today and for the future of Bermuda creatives?
Just to keep telling new stories in new ways. You know what I mean? I feel like this story is a new way of telling stuff that we hear about. So I just hope Bermudian creators just try new things to tell new stories. That'll be, my best hope.
Thank you so much, Stefan. All right, so that concludes the 36th edition of Pechakucha in Bermuda. Just want to say thank you so much to all of you for coming out tonight. We also want to give a big shout out to the Bermuda Society of Arts. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you, Nzinga. To Spanish Town Entertainment for putting together all of this production here. BDA Spirits for the bar. Could you guys remember the code to get your discount? Thank you very much.
We have flyers as you come on.
Applebee, they allowed us to use their boardroom to do the rehearsals, so we got to give a shout out to them, and to B Solar for allowing us to use some equipment. So thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight. If any of you are interested in presenting, I think we're going to try to do the next one in February, March, February. Something like that. Please get in touch.
Yeah, or better then, if you're not following us on social media just yet, give us a follow so you'll stay up to date. You know when is the next day when we make the call for presenters, just to hear more about what's up.
Exactly, and this is a unique opportunity to build community. So it's important for us to all be showing up and to coming out to these things, but also to be engaging and learning and growing with each other. So thank you so much to all of you for coming out. And we look forward to seeing you in the next one.
See you in the next one. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. If you wouldn't mind stacking your chair, that would be a big help.